two title contenders clashing in the battle for the Little Brass Bell. North Central emerging with a perfect 6-0 record and a 35-25 victory over Wheaton. Coach Jeff Thorne joins the show to discuss his first win against Wheaton as the head coach. And as we hit the midway point of our season, it's time to look back and check out some top plays. I'm Kevin Jackman. All that and more is next on the Red Zone.
Presenting sponsor of the Red Zone is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Wheaton had won the last two meetings, including last year, dashing the playoff hopes for NCC. But with two undefeated seasons on the line, the Cardinals come up with a big win. Let's check out the highlights.
Midway through the first, and the first score coming from an unlikely source.
Play action. Into the flat. Justin Shaw flips into the end zone. Touchdown, North Central.
First play of Wheaton's next drive.
Olateju on the carry, tries to stretch it to the near side. Cardinals contain beautifully, football loose. Picked up NCC, and it is dragged out of bounds. Cardinals take over. Pat Cravens on the fumble recovery.
Tyler Oakley, the man jarring the ball loose. Cardinals taking advantage on the next possession.
Rudder to the air, over the middle, pass complete. Touchdown NCC, Ryan Cool, just inside the goal line.
Both teams adding field goals, but the Cardinal defense standing up tall to quarterback Andrew Bowers.
Throw to the outside, picked off Jeremy Niklos. Down at the 28. How he caught that ball, I have absolutely no idea.
Fourth pick of the season for Niklos. Then Wheaton has to punt to Pat Cravens.
Cravens will return. Hole up the middle. Pass midfield. He's got a blocker in front of him. Cuts it to the near side. He's got empty space. To the pylon. Touchdown, NCC.
Out of the break, and Wheaton regrouping. Bad snap as the Cardinals go to punt. Result in a safety. The old unconventional 24-5 score.
Formation shift. Pitch and catch outside. Olateju trying to stretch it, and he will cross the goal line. Wheaton has pierced the end zone for the first time tonight.
After getting the ball back, the Thunder marching down the field, and then Jalen Goldsmith with some trickery.
He'll throw it to the back of the end zone, and that will tighten things up considerably.
That's too easy.
Wheaton on a 15-0 run to start the second half, needing some points. Rudder finding Cool on 2nd and 21. And then on the next play,
3rd and 9. Play action fake, pressure behind, floated end zone, touchdown North Central, Dylan Warden!
Cardinals then going for two and get it with Austin Brunig, 32-18 midway through the fourth. But the Thunder simply wouldn't go away.
Bowers over the middle, and it is complete to Hanley. Hanley breaks away. Cravens, the last man there, wraps him up, and into the end zone. Hanley has himself a touchdown.
Just a one-score game until Liam Crotty comes in. Chance to go up by 10, and he knocks it through. Biggest kick of the junior's career. Now a chance to close it out on 4th down.
Olateju in the backfield. Bowers drops back, needing 5. Goes over the middle, incomplete. Any penalty markers? There are none. And the North Central Cardinals, it'll be a formality when the offense takes the field, but for all intents and purposes, they have one back. The Little Brass Bell.
Welcome home to Naperville, Little Brass Bell.
Welcome into the Red Zone, and Coach Jeff Thorne is on set, and let's talk about the obvious here. The obvious launching point is, the Little Brass Bell that you guys just reclaimed. First time you've hoisted it as the head coach.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Great feeling. Yeah, it's such a great rivalry. We talked last week about it. Have such great respect for Wheaton and their staff and just their program in general. So to get the bell back after a 2-year hiatus was really a pretty special feeling.
Last year's was a close game, ended up on the wrong end of it. This was another close game, but just you want to take it in the entirety. It had to have been just a tremendous football game for you to watch and coach and just the entire atmosphere of it.
Yeah, we had a heck of a crowd on both sides, and I was really excited about North Central's band, quite honestly. It's, that's new this year, and they're doing a terrific job creating a great atmosphere. It really made for a special environment. It was really exciting. You know, Wheaton every year in the second half comes out and they do some great things on defense that seem to slow us down. We got to do a better job of reacting a little bit quicker. But our defense was just fantastic again all night long. Gave up a couple big plays, but you know, beyond that, we pressured the quarterback, we contained the running back, and we did the things that obviously we needed to do to win the game.
How much confidence does this give you? I know you guys were already a confident bunch being 5-0, but having already beaten Wheaton now, does that give you the sense that this team is as good as it has looked the previous 5 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it legitimizes what we already thought, that we had a pretty special group this year. We played all 3 phases. I mentioned our defense, but you know, our special teams were terrific. Pat's punt return before the half. But that was set up by Zane's punt that lands at the, you know, literally 1 foot line. and you know, you're going to get a chance to talk to Liam here shortly, but his 2 field goals were enormous. So Mike Svikas, our kicker, kicks the ball to the end zone like 3 times. Really was a all 3 phase effort. And, you know, when you do that, you have to do that against good teams. And they all stepped up and did what had to be done, and we're holding the bell.
Now I want to break this down individually to the different phases. Let's start with the offensive end. Brock Rutter, we've talked about him a lot the last few weeks. Cool, very calm, and he delivered in the big moments when you guys really needed points.
Yeah, you know, I think the measure of a great athlete in any sport is how well they perform when they really don't have their best stuff. You hear it about pitchers often, but I think Brock admittedly will tell you that he wasn't as sharp as he's been in other games with, you know, accuracy and fundamentals and footwork, things like that we can fix. But when the game was on the line and he had to make a play, he made the plays, whether it was throwing it or pulling the ball down and running and converting first downs. And he took a couple shots in order to do that. And, you know, as a quarterback, what that does for your team when they see their quarterback laying their body on the line to get a win, it means a lot.
I asked him after the game, I said, who knew you could run? He goes, not me. That's the first time we've really seen that from that quarterback. But let's talk about the receivers, because the 3 big guys, they all stepped up. Alex, Ryan, and then, of course, Dylan with that big touchdown at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can we say about these 3 guys? Week
in and week out, they just keep doing it. I was really, really pleased for Dylan, because in the first half, he underthrew the deception play we had, a little bit of an underthrow. Had a couple balls that I thought and he thought he could have caught that he didn't, and he was down, but he stayed in the moment, and he knew an opportunity was going to come. And I think he told Brock or one of his other teammates, hey, I'm going to make a play, I'm going to make a play. And there down the stretch, he didn't make 1, he made 2 huge ones, not just the touchdown, but he caught a post down the middle on, I think, might have been a 3rd down play, but that got us into plus territory and field goal range, and we were able to convert Liam's field goal there to kind of seal the win. So Dylan was huge.
I'm looking forward to breaking down that touchdown catch, because that was an exciting play. The next thing I want to get to is the defense, and it starts with Billy Dowds. He had a massive game up front. That entire defensive line was playing well, but when you're facing an offense led by Bowers and Olateju and all these really good skill players, you guys got a lot of pressure on those guys.
Yeah, he was tremendous. 3 sacks, and he really had another half a sack that got taken away from a penalty. Another time he had the quarterback wrapped up. The guy was going to the ground, and he threw one away. So Billy was in the backfield all game long. He's really come a long ways this season, and it's been fun to watch. He's 6'3" and 240, 245 pounds, and he can move. So he's got the tools to be a great player, and it's really fun to watch that take place.
Now in the back half, Jeremy Nicholas with a phenomenal interception, a Houdini-act kind of. What did you see from the back half? Because Bowers didn't have a whole lot of space to throw behind those guys.
Same thing we've been seeing all year. Our corners are covering. Our safeties are doing a great job when asked in our schemes to cover. They got one play late in the game. Kevin got tangled up a little bit and fell down, and they were able to take that one, I think 56 yards, something like that. But, Tyler Oakley, who we're going to talk to here in a little bit, his assignment was number 89, and 89 had 1 catch in the game. So he was tremendous. He also forced a fumble in the first quarter. That was a great play. So we had so many different guys do something. On DeAndre Hood, on one of the punts, the punt that hit Tyler in the helmet, he's engaged with his guy. He sees it hit his helmet. It bounces once on the ground. He one-hands it and corrals it and goes to the ground. I mean, that's a really heady play, but that's what seniors do, and that's why it's important to have seniors on the field.
I want to return to the special teams, because Grant always says something that your father used to tell him. Special teams need to make special plays. And they did that in this game. You've already mentioned a couple of them. But how much of a momentum breaker was the Pat Cravens touchdown going into the half, giving you that 21-3 lead, I think it was going into the break?
24-3.
24-3.
It was huge. It's actually a complete flip-flop from last year. Last year they throw a Hail Mary on the last play of the half and go in leading 10-3 and get a touchdown there on the last play. And for us to do that this year, it really meant a lot. It gave us a 3-touchdown lead, and thankfully, because we kind of went to sleep on offense in the third quarter.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a more in-depth look at this game coming up. We'll have Check the Tape coming up next on the Red Zone. Welcome back to the Red Zone, and now it's time to get the sneak peek inside the film room. It's time for Check the Tape.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by M&M Rentals.
Now, Coach, I want to start with a play that actually started the scoring in this game, and an unconventional option in the passing game, and it's Justin Shaw coming out of the backfield and putting you guys on the scoreboard.
Yeah, credit to Coach Spencer and Coach Wilson, our offensive coaches, for putting this play together. They saw something on film, and we practiced it during the week. Justin's a really good athlete. He's done a great job as the season has progressed of learning that kind of fullback position, but he's a former running back. He's got great hands. He runs well, and he's 225 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll see more of going forward, I think, is involving him a little bit more in the offense.
Now let's go to the big punt return. We talked about it in the previous segment, but here's Pat Cravens using his athleticism to just burst and find some open space.
Pat's special. He's got a special set of tools. He's the best athlete on our team, but really by any measure, if you do all the testing numbers, he's very, very explosive. He's got a knack for doing special things with the football, extremely quick and strong, and then you see the speed here. So he makes a quick decision, splits the defense. I think maybe one guy got a hand on him, so credit our punt return team in general for throwing some blocks to spring him free, and then he does the rest. But he's a great athlete, tough kid, great competitor. So not surprised at all that he was able to do that.
Now the final play I want to get to is another special athlete doing some special things, and it's Dylan Warden on the receiving end of, this is Brock's third touchdown pass, but it was arguably the most impressive because Dylan went up and he got this football.
Yeah, it was just a terrific play. It's one guy deciding that's my football, and Brock put it in a place where our guy could catch it, and our guy only. And you see the athleticism in Dylan, how high he was able to jump and high point the ball and come down clean with it. Great play, great kid, great leader. Couldn't be happier for him, prouder of him. He's just had a great season, and he continues to grow as a person and as a leader. He's a special kid.
We've talked about this in weeks past, but is it nice to have, because Dylan's kind of an unassuming kind of guy. He doesn't, very soft-spoken, but is it nice to have that type of leader? And somebody who's not rah-rah, but more just leading by example?
We talked a lot about leading by example with the Navy SEALs that came in, and you have to do more than that. He's always been a leader by example, but when you lead by example, you're kind of hoping that people watch and follow. So Dylan's added some things to his leadership abilities, which is what I'm referring to when I talk about how he's grown.
Yeah.
But humility, you talk about unassuming, soft-spoken. He's just one of the most humble young men you'll ever meet, and it's really refreshing. He's, like I said, just a fabulous kid.
Last thing I want to get to is Augustana. The next test on the schedule, you guys go down to Rock Island. What kind of team are the Vikings this season? What kind of team are you preparing for?
Every time we go there, it's a challenge. It always has been going to Rock Island. But they're young this year, so they've got some younger kids trying to play, particularly on offense. They've got some quarterbacks that can throw it. They've got some kids on the outside that can run. So we'll have our hands full defensively. They bring back 8 starters from last year, and they gave us some trouble last year. So by no means are we looking past this game. They're going to be a formidable opponent, just like any other team in the conference. But they've struggled a little bit here in the last couple of weeks for whatever reason. I'm assuming they're going to have their best effort ready, and they're going to play really well against us.
Well, good luck.
Thanks, Kevin.
Capturing that brass bell this past week, and good luck coming up against Augustana.
Thanks.
Liam Crotty and Tyler Oakley join me on set. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This new mom is struggling to get the skates just right. Now she's holding on for dear life.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
One had a crucial forced fumble early in the game. The other coming up with a late field goal to all but seal it. Tyler Oakley and Liam Crotty join me on set. And guys, welcome. Congratulations on capturing the Little Brass Bell. First things first, and I'll start with Liam. Nice to beat Wheaton and take that bell back from them?
Absolutely. 2 years, we let it slip away. A couple plays that kind of ruined it for us. But, new year, 2016, it's in our hands now.
Now, Tyler, I mean, what's the feeling around this team knowing that you've taken that hardware back from your rivals?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. Coach never got to hold it as a head coach, so that was nice. Let's see, my class never got to hold it, so that was nice. And then just to have the young guns know what it's like is awesome. But it's a step towards our ultimate goal, the CCIW championship.
Now let's get to the game itself. Tyler, I want to start with you. Second drive for Wheaton. You come around the edge. Shola Olateju is a really good running back. You wrapped him up. And you didn't just wrap him up. You forced that ball loose, and Patty Cravens covered it up. When you made that play, what were you thinking?
I mean, our defensive scheme for the week was just awesome. It was complex yet simple. And, I mean, I just read my key and reacted to run, and he bounced right into my arms. And, Coach always talks about who wants to make a play, and they carried the ball gingerly. So I saw it, took the opportunity, and Pat scooped it.
Now, you didn't just force the fumble, but you were tasked with guarding Lindquist, 6'3", big guy. I mean, really just a big guy. You shut him down. I mean, did you step away from that game thinking, wow, I just shut an All-American down?
Yeah, I mean, I stepped out of the game a little sore and say, it was worth it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, credit to him. He's a great player. He's extremely physical. He's big. But, the first play, he clocked me. We were playing man coverage, and it just took that play to realize that all he wants to do is create contact. So if I can avoid him, I'm faster than him, that I can just man him up all day.
Kind of set the tone. Here we go.
Exactly.
Let's do this.
That was nice.
Now, Liam, you didn't have just one, but two key field goals in this game. The second one to make it a two-score game late. Field goal kickers, you guys have a tough job because you only come out of the field in usually pressure situations. What was going through your mind when you were trying to prepare for that kick, knowing the gravity that it would have on the game?
I'm not sure, really. I don't remember a whole lot. I just realized how close of a field goal it was. It was only a 25-yarder, and we've practiced the situation, I don't know how many times, at least 2 or 3 times a week. So as a unit, as a field goal unit, we were ready for that moment. So you didn't really think. I expected Wheaton's sidelines and their stands to be going insane the whole time because it happened the last 2 years. They create a ruckus. So, just fall back on your training, and the results will be what you want, and that was the case. And it also helps that I kicked the ball away from number 4 because number 4 was 6'3", and he could probably dunk a basketball standing up, and he was jumping really high. So get it away from him, but still through the uprights, and that was just what happened.
Let's talk about the defensive line, because you're a linebacker. You get at least a split second to see what those guys are doing, and Billy Dowds had an incredible game up front. That entire line did, but seeing what he did on that field on Saturday, did you guys walk away thinking that that was an impressive performance?
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't even know he had 3 sacks left in the game. But I mean, that just gives credit to that whole line. They're always in the backfield, and they're always creating havoc up there. I mean, last year, Eric Wilson had 3 sacks against Wheaton. So Billy just stepped up, took his role, and he had a fantastic game.
I want to go back to you, Liam. One last thing before we get to the quick hits. Zane Ladico, I'm sure you work a lot with him during practice. a couple of big punts. He's leading the CCIW in net average, and he pins them at the 1 right before the half. He's come in. What have you seen from him from the punting game?
I mean, I think he stepped up big time. I know he has a little unorthodox punting style compared to most punters around in the country, but he's got a very strong leg. But I think, I don't think he thinks out there. He just goes out and punts. I mean, the safety would just happen to be, a shield, our middle shield stepping in a little too early and it ricocheted off, but he's also an athlete where if that ball didn't, go in the end, so I think he'd get the punt off in time, but
yeah.
He used to play running back in high school, so but otherwise, I mean, he's a very good punter, I think, and he works really hard at what he does, and I think he'll be a great addition for us for the next 2 or 3 years.
Special teams has been really fun to watch this year, I can tell you that. Let's get to the quick hits. So these are 3 questions that have nothing to do with football or very little to do with football. First one, and I'll go to Tyler for this one. What's your favorite sport to play outside of football?
Ooh. Soccer.
Soccer.
I played soccer for a long time when I was a little kid.
Does that count? Because technically it's also kind of called football.
It's true. Yeah.
We'll take it. Liam, how about you?
Golf.
Golf? All right, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I hurt myself when I play soccer. It doesn't end up well. Second question, we'll start with Liam for this one. If you could go on vacation right now, where would the destination be?
I would go back to Ireland and Scotland.
You guys went there this past summer, right?
Yes, we did. It was insanely beautiful. It's the native homeland, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
How about you, Tyler?
I don't know. It's kind of like fall. Maybe go up north somewhere, go fishing a little bit, get outdoors.
All right. I like both of those answers. Last one. This might be a thinker. You ready for this? If you could be any character in any movie that you've seen, what character and in what movie?
I'll go with the superhero Batman.
Batman.
I mean, yeah. I love all of his gadgets. I love all the movies. And he's just a cool dude.
All right.
I would have to go with my favorite movie, Tommy Boy, Chris Farley. big fan, big comedy fan. And just his humor is something I really enjoyed. Or even David Spade in that movie. I think that'd be pretty funny too.
Well, guys, congratulations on the brass belt and good luck against Augustana. Should be a lot of fun to watch you guys for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for hopping on. We're going to take a quick break. The Cardinal Corner is on deck. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by Belgio's Catering.
Since we're roughly at the midway point of the season, let's go back and rank the top 5 plays on the gridiron for the Cardinals. Coming in at number 5, Brock Rutter, using his deadly accuracy to heat-seek Dylan Warden in the back of the end zone against North Park. The duo combining for 3 scores on the afternoon down in Chicago. At number 4, we turn to the defensive side of the ball. Jeremy Niklos makes the initial pass deflection, and then Kevin Nalewski comes flying out of nowhere for the pick. Just an outstanding diving effort for the senior. It's just too bad Niklos doesn't get the assist. NCC with a record 6 interceptions in the game. From the D-backs to the D-line, Billy Dowds coming through with a huge game when it mattered most at number 3. And well, 3 is kind of the perfect spot because that's how many sacks the junior had against Wheaton in a 35-25 win, even with that gnarly-looking hamstring cramp. Back to that playmaking secondary for our second to last play. Niklos again playing point guard, breaks up a completed pass right into the hands of Pat Cravens, and he takes it to the house. The pick 6 seals the win against Robert Morris, really setting the tone for the rest of the season. Don't feel too bad for Niklos, though. He has 4 picks himself this year. And now for our top play from the biggest game and in the biggest spot. Play action fake, pressure behind, floated end zone, touchdown North Central, Dylan Warden! The former quarterback, turn receiver, leaps and hauls it in. It's time for another play of the week. So many to choose from. Dylan Warden's amazing touchdown catch, Liam Crotty's clutch kick, but let's go with Pat Craven's 67-yard punt return for a touchdown. The sophomore uses his top-end speed to pull away for 6, giving the Cards a 24-3 lead heading to the half. Pat Cravens, the winner of this week's Play of the Game.
It's time for our weekly sit-down with North Central Sports Information Director Clark Tuscher. And Clark, the first thing I want to get to is, well, you guys have possession of the Little Brass Bell once again. What is it like having it back in the building now?
Well, it feels like everything's, that the house is back in order a little bit. It's they've got a space carved out for that in the coach's office, and it was a little barren the last couple of seasons. So I think that was the kind of the first big goal on the checklist for the team this year, and they got it out of the way, and now they're moving on to the next bit of it, which is the conference championship and the automatic bid for the playoffs. So they've got one big check mark down for the year.
Let's get to men's cross country. This is a team that is absolutely on a roll. They just took first place up in Oshkosh, and they're just moving towards nationals like they always do, picking up momentum.
Yeah, the coaches really look at that meet as an indicator of their readiness to begin the postseason. They've gone to that meet every year for years, decades on back, so they have all kinds of information to compare it to. The course hasn't changed in all that time, so the results here obviously compare favorably with what championship teams have done in the past, so they have every expectation of competing for a national title in November.
The women's team finished 16th in their race this past weekend. What's the sense around this team? Because there's kind of more unknowns about the women's side.
Yeah, it's still kind of coming together a little bit. That was the first time that the whole team actually raced together. Yeah. They only finished behind one conference team, which was Wheaton, but just by a few points in a very large field. So, certainly they appear to be, in the hunt to defend their conference title, which would be a third straight one here at the end of this month.
Be pretty impressive. Let's get to men's and women's soccer, because they're also in an impressive run right now. The men's soccer team, especially, 3 wins in a row now, and they're starting to turn the season around just like they did last year. Is that what they're talking about, trying to use the same momentum they had from last year?
Well, they opened the conference play against probably the best team in the league this year, which is Carthage, and they lost in overtime in that one. So they felt like they had a chance to be pretty competitive within the conference, and that's certainly borne out. Yeah. They've got a big week coming up with a road game at Carroll, and then a senior day home game against Wheaton at the stadium on Saturday. So a lot to play for here this next few days for those guys.
And then the women's team, almost the same thing. 3 wins in their last 4 games. They're also 3-1 in conference. Andrew Gamara has them playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, they've given up 1 goal in 4 conference games. Unfortunately, that wound up costing them a game. That's kind of how it works sometimes. But definitely have got some things in place and got a lot of momentum. And the same story with them. At Carroll Wednesday, I got home against Wheaton on Saturday. A chance to really put themselves in a favorable position for the postseason with another week to go.
Now, some exciting news that you guys are announcing. It's a new sport that's being added to the slate for North Central. Any details on that?
Yeah, we're expanding to a 26th sport to start the next academic year, 2017-2018. We're going to field a women's bowling team for the first time. We're going to try and get a coach hired before the new year to get any current students who are interested in being on the team, as well as recruiting some new students to fill that roster out. And we're going to start that's a winter sport in collegiate bowling. It's going to start in sometime in October, and then the national championship is in March. So that'll be another winter sport for the calendar. There's a lot of excitement about us being able to be competitive in fairly short order with the number of successful high school programs that we have here in the area. So it also gives us a chance to even out our sport offerings at 13 for men and 13 for women. So we're very proud of that.
A lot of additions lately. It's got to be keeping you guys busy.
Yeah, we're used to it by now. This will be the 4th new sport in 3 years. So we've got a bit of a routine down for that now.
Well, Clark, thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to bowling. That's a lot of fun.
All right.
That's all the time we have for this week's edition of The Red Zone. Coming off the win against Wheaton, the Cardinals now go down to Rock Island to face off with Augustana. The Cardinals then return home the following week to take on Carroll during homecoming. I'm Kevin Jackman. We'll see you next time on a brand new edition of The Red Zone.